Hi there, everyone. We're doing a sports algorithm recap, and we're also talking about betting. We're going to finally talk about betting advice that I can hang my hat on and say, listen, I know what I'm talking about. So I've been having discussions with friends, intelligent friends that I respect about their betting strategies, and they like to take just a few games, a few big favorites, or at least teams they like that are home teams and stuff like that. And I said, it's a new world of wagering. You can now wager in so many different ways. You can live bet. You can combine different types of bets like team runs or player runs or all kinds of weird things. You can combine them together in parlays and round robins. And so the idea I came up with was micro betting, which is betting small amounts on many, like every single type of prediction that the algorithm is making for the day, like Houston to score a lot of runs. You do Houston team runs. You also do Houston to win. You also do Houston -1.5. But you combine those with the Yankees -1.5, with the Yankees runs, with the White Sox runs. You combine all those things together in different elements of the games all the way through, and you can bet very, very small amounts to create those round robins, and they can pay a lot when you hit 6, 7, or whatever. Well, that's what happened. It looks like it's not over yet. Baseball is over yet for the day, but hockey is not. And the last pick on one of my picks that looks like it's actually going to win, it's going to make me up overall, and overall is in quotation marks here because I'm saying I've been talking about the last few days doing this micro betting strategy and actually keeping track. I wager $94 a day. That's my limit, unless I've just won a bunch from the day before, but generally it'll be $94 a day. And what you can do with that $94 a day is make these crazy micro bets that have crazy payouts. So this is the one that looks like it's going to hit today. The only thing left on it is the under in the St. Louis Colorado game, which has 10 minutes left and the score is only 2-1. So that game would have to get to 3-3 and have 3 more goals in the next 10 minutes for me to lose this part of it. So what this is showing, this is a 58-1 6-team parlay, but it's paying about $250 because I have it as a round robin by 3s, 4s, 5s, and 6s, I believe. Yeah, with just small amounts, like $3 pays $90 on one of them. $3.75 pays like $58. It's crazy how much it pays hitting all of these. So what's on here? Well, first of all, the Orioles are on here. Why are the Orioles on this? Well, this is a live bet that occurred at 2:12 p.m. Eastern. I think this Orioles game started at 1. So what happened was this game was probably in like the 5th inning or something, and it was tied like 3-3 or something. And so I was looking at this and I'm like, well, the Yankees are having trouble with the Orioles. They're hitting the ball. I hadn't bet the Yankees at all yet today because they never had a good available line. So I was like, you know what? Go with this good line for the Orioles because they really do have a chance to win it tied in the middle of the game. So that's a live betting decision that you can make that you wouldn't make before the game because you expected the Yankees to win. If you look at where the Yankees were on the algorithm list, they were like the number 2 pick of the day up here. So generally you wanted to take them, but the line was not good ever. And they even fell behind in there. So the point is that was kind of, you're messing around with good lines and you're throwing a lot of these micro bets on different things. I had not bet the Orioles and I hadn't bet the Yankees either today. So it was open which winner I was going to pick in that game. Then there was an over in this Mets game. I was listening to this game a lot because I am a Mets fan. And I heard in this game just everyone was seeing the ball so well and they were hitting the ball so well. And this game, the pick actually got lucky. In this case, you got lucky because this was supposed to end 5-4 and there was an error in the 9th inning. And that tied the game up and the game went over 9.5. So got lucky. Great. It happens. Over 5 in the Cincinnati-Cleveland game, not so lucky. Actually, smart bet. What happened was this game was like 0-0 in like the 4th inning. And I saw that over 5, and Cleveland's supposed to put up more runs. Even though Cleveland lost, Cincinnati managed to put up runs because there was supposed to be more offense in this game anyway. And I don't know why Cleveland's not hitting. But it hit the over 5. So sort of lucky, but also good timing. Over 5 on any game is a good over. Look at the other numbers here. This over 9.5 with the White Sox and the Royals was predetermined because this pitching matchup looked ridiculous based on 2022 pitching stats that there was going to be a ton of runs. It actually predicted this game exactly 7-4 White Sox. Lightning, I talked about hockey, which is right here. Lightning, they win 2-1 this game, almost goes to a tie. I had bet the tie also because I knew it was going to be a low-scoring game with Tampa Bay probably fighting it out because they're a championship team. Sure enough, this was easy pickings. It was never in doubt, Lightning plus 1.5. And now I'm just waiting, praying that this... Oh, it's 3-1 St. Louis already. Watch out. For 9:19 left. If Colorado keeps pulling their goalie and makes this thing, I guess, 6-1, you'll see me crying. No, I won't cry because this thing will still pay like $50, I think, overall, $45 or something. It won't pay $250, which is what it's paying if this game stays under 6.5 in the last 9 minutes. Now, my point of all this is micro betting. I had so many of these types of bets today. I didn't win on most of them. Most of them went like 3-3, 2-4. I have one that went 3-2, 4, and I think I had 4-2 on one of them. But they really didn't pay much because you have to either not miss any or only miss one to get paid anything reasonable on these micro bet round robins. But when you spread out all of your picks on things that are, what happens in the playoffs, these over-unders is ridiculous. The over-under was set at 7 for this game because it's looking at what these teams put up during the season. But this is a championship Stanley Cup goaltender and Colorado, a team that really is under pressure and wants to win, and people play defense in the playoffs, and under 6.5, under 7 is usually kind of a joke. And we'll see if I bite my tongue and, they score a bunch of goals in the last 8.5 minutes, but probably not. It's probably going to win. Same thing with Tampa Bay. So let's go back over to baseball for a second. Because the day is barely profitable. It's choppy. Having the Yankees lose really hurts. Having Cleveland lose really hurts. But under 2022 pitching stats, Arizona wins and kind of does something that resembles what the projected score was. It said that Arizona here would win like 5-1 or 5-2, and they end up winning 3-1. The Cubs can't score continually, and the Mets win a crazy game, walk off in like the 10th inning after being down. This is nuts. That White Sox game, exactly the projected score of 7-4 comes in 7-4. That was crazy. Philly doesn't put up anything. I don't know why Philly's on here. And then this Boston-Seattle game was kind of a pick-em, but after the lineup adjustment, it favored Boston, and they put up a ton of runs because the wind, I guess, was blowing a little bit out there. Now, the point of all this is a choppy day, but I still found a way to dig around and find 4 picks in there that actually won, and because I did so many combinations, I'm able to turn $94 into like $280 and not even have a great day. If other things had happened and the Cleveland had won, for example, that was a huge one. If Cleveland had won, then you would see hundreds of more dollars have showed up, most likely, because they were on a lot of different picks as well. So point of all this is, well, what about tomorrow? Like, what are you going to focus on? And there are a lot of games, and there's only one day game. This is a little preliminary projection with expected lineups in here. And you're going to want to wait till you finalize lineups and stuff because it matters tomorrow. But is there anything of interest? I saw crazy ERAs here for the Cincinnati-Toronto game with very few innings pitched for Luis Castillo and Hyunjin Ryu, I think. Hyunjin Ryu. So I'm going to put them at 2021 because that just makes a lot more sense. Aaron Savali's got a high ERA, but he's got innings pitched. Devin Smelter's okay. This Chase Sisleff, I don't think we can bring him to last year. I think he's like AAA or something. No, it's tough. So the Angels is another weird one down there. Point is you'll want to get more updates tomorrow as we get lineups and stats in here. But if you're looking at overall what kind of things are you probably going to be tracking, you're going to see Yankees thinks a lot of Yankees runs against the White Sox. Thinks Yankees minus 1.5, even though they're home. That's a big one. Seeing runs for St. Louis, seeing runs for the Mets in Colorado, but there's supposed to be rain for that game. It's seeing predicted runs of 7 for Detroit. Why? Because of Savali? Hold on a second. Because Savali's ERA is so crazy. Yeah, you got to bring him down, and that makes that game a lot more reasonable. That puts Detroit that actually favors Cleveland now slightly by a percentage. See, a lot of work has to be done on this file for tomorrow. So if you want to subscribe and get on the email list when I do all the updates Friday morning, noonish or whatever, to send it out, because I will not do another video for Friday. But I will be following this and doing live betting for the night at some point, because you can't not. I want to show you exactly how this works as I keep doing this, and we have more picks to choose from, and there's more advantageous lines to take care of. I'll show you some of the things that I end up hitting. And I haven't actually sat down and done this ever. This wasn't really available to do years ago. You couldn't go and make 65 bets 8 at a time every 5 minutes, 10 minutes or whatever as you're scrolling through games that are live. You couldn't do that in the past. It's not something a live human can actually do. You can only do that in a algorithmic sense like this, where you're tracking the games and you're thinking that the games are going to follow a path. No matter what the score is early on, you think it's going to follow a game trajectory path based on what the algorithm says. And if the algorithm ends up being right, there are very opportune times when you can purchase essentially the outcome you are looking for. Like you're going to be saying, if the Yankees go down early, or if St. Louis goes down early, or if Milwaukee goes down early, or if Boston goes down early, you want to bet them then to win, because their line wasn't good at the beginning of the game, but the line will get better if they drop behind. So that's when you bet them and add them to picks with other games if you want to have the outcome of the Yankees winning. You also bet the Yankees runs. You also look at pitcher ERAs and team totals, and you bet team runs. You bet team unders when it looks like they won't be hitting against a pitcher, or the situation is not appropriate for them to hit because of wind or things like that. There's all kinds of things you can combine together, and it's just so it's work is what it is, but it's the kind of work that absolutely pays off, because we're only 2 days into this. There's 5.5 minutes left in that game, and it's still only 3-1, so we're almost there, and that's gonna show you that I'm gonna start with the 200 and I think it's 200, about $80. We'll find out in tomorrow's recap video of what I do tomorrow. So I'll take that. There was 94. I lost like 86 first day. Had to add 86, so it was like $180 I had put in. Now we just turned that into 280 now. So now we're up $100 essentially when this hockey game's over. But I'm going to continue to do more and more micro bets, just a little bit higher range, and show you what this can turn into when you actually have a really good night and hit a bunch of games. And who knows when that'll happen, but it'll happen on average 1 out of every 5 days. And when it does, it's incredible, because you don't turn just $100 into 300. You turn $100 into like 1,200 or 1,500. And I've never bet a ton of money on anything. I like to micro bet. It's more fun, because when you lose, when you micro bet, you don't feel like you've lost much. You're like, oh, well, tomorrow's another trial. Tomorrow's another sample. So you'll see that as this wins, I'm going to cash out. And I think you should, like, as soon as this gets over $1,000, I can't justify leaving it in there. I'm just like, well, take it out, go back to $100 and do what you're supposed to do again. It's not. I don't like risking a lot of money. Then it becomes, when it matters, it's not fun anymore. In my opinion, it's nerve wracking. I like doing it like a lottery, where you just have these tiny bets and they pay a lot. All right, so that's how I like to do it, and like to keep it healthy. We'll see how these games go tomorrow, and I'll give you a recap on what we do with the $280, because the score is still 3-1 and there's 4 minutes left. So boy, that would be the beat of the century. I don't think it's going to happen. Good luck, everybody. May all your picks be winning.